Talent, by the way. Shouldn't even say that. I'm sure we get people from the bureau chief pool and whatever. So submit yourself if you're so inclined, and submit yourself to Bill Squire. If you listen to the show on iHeartRadio from wherever outside of Ohio, tell me where you do that. We'll make sure you're on the map. Roger is brand new in Atlantic, PA. He called from the road yesterday. He's driving, he's hauling the big rigs full of TP. Make sure people are happy and safe and not punching each other over toilet paper. Tammy listens in Tyler, Texas. Zach is in...
It's like a tongue
Tammy
twister.
tunes in from Tyler, Texas.
Yeah, Tammy tunes
in from Tyler, Texas. Zach listens in New Orleans. Andy's in Bozeman, Montana. Eddie's in La Mesa, California. Ashlyn is in Delanco, New Jersey. And DeAndre is in Vallejo, California. So thanks, one and all, wherever you listen. We appreciate it. There is a website that someone put together. Make sure I have my information correct here. This Cleveland Tips website, have you gone to this? Help local service industry workers during the shutdown. I think Saucy Brewworks might have put this together, the virtual tip jar for Cleveland. You go to clevelandtips.com, and you'll get randomly paired with a service worker who has put themselves in the database. And so there are a variety of people who work at local restaurants, and you can either donate to them or you can donate to a bar or restaurant that you like.
Got it.
So, you know, for people, a lot of people hit the hardest in the service industry. The owners of Saucy Brewworks have pledged to match the first $5,000 of tips.
Wow, very cool.
Given to their employees. So there are a lot of options for you. If you go to alancoxshow.com and use the keyword food, I think we're still keeping a list of local establishments that are doing delivery and takeout.
I know that the Winking Lizard is also taking their carry-out tips. So if you order any carry-out or pick up from them, if you leave a tip on it, they're dividing that up amongst their employees as well.
There you go.
Is that not the norm?
No, normally if the restaurant's open, it goes to the hostess.
Yeah.
But this, any delivery they're going is like over 1,000 employees, and that's a company I used to work for. My sister used to work there. My whole family's worked for that company, so I'm dead serious. Both my sisters,
funny.
myself, and my cousin were employed by
At
that
the same time?
And, yeah, 3 of us in the same store.
Oh my gosh, they probably
Yeah.
got you damn Santoras.
Right.
Oh, in the same location.
3 of us were, but very briefly, and then we kind of split up after that. But yeah, they're taking all those tips and splitting them up amongst the employees as well. So there's a lot of people out there that are doing some really awesome things.
That's the one where you have to wear the kilt.
No. The Winking Lizard?
That
How
was
would
the
a
tilted
lizard...
kilt that was here for a cup of coffee downtown.
We had to wear tails.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding.
Oh,
They let their skin get all dried out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're able to, don't be stingy when you're tipping on carryout.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a good tipper, but I've upped my game when we've been getting carryout.
Same here.
Yeah.
I've been tipping well.
That's a good way to do it, because you walk in and there's like one person behind the bar
Yeah.
who's doling out the orders. The owner's usually at the end of the bar drowning his sorrows in something because he's like, I can't believe this is what it's come to.
Yeah, there's like two people in the back cooking, one person getting the food together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or bare bones.
Yeah. Invariably, the owner will be talking to a vendor who's trying to let him down softly on why they got to pull out. So Cleveland tips. What else? Oh, Bill sent me a thing. What's your bias? That I thought was kind of interesting. You sent me What's Your Bias, yeah?
Yeah, I sent you that, and I sent it to Mary last night, and I went through the whole thing with my girlfriend last night. I think these are incredibly interesting because they definitely explain a lot of different people, and a lot of people have several different biases.
I read some of those too, and I was like, I know several people that have this, just like the cost of the sunken fallacy one.
I was kind of trying to nail myself down in this, and I'm still not sure.
You want me to do it for you?
Which one am I?
Did you already take notes on all of us?
No, I just was making a little joke.
Which one am I?
I think. Let me see.
There was one that I read that I thought
let me
you immediately.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let me go through these. So, this thing is to determine like what kind of bias you have when it comes to, I guess, anything. Human minds are associative in nature, so the order in which we receive information helps determine the course of our judgments and perceptions. So there's anchoring, right? This gets a little heady, but it's interesting. Anchoring, the first thing you judge influences your judgment of all that follows. So that would that your bias would be you were biased in anchoring, right? You judge one thing, and that kind of, it's like a trickle-down effect, I guess. The other one is the sunk cost fallacy. That's the one.
This one's me.
This is you?
I definitely have this.
You irrationally cling to things that have already cost you something. You're like, I'm already invested in this, I'm not letting it go? Is that what that is?
I'm better about it now, but it's definitely something that has been in my past. Like, in a huge way of, like, what my decision-making process was. I'm like, okay, I put time into this, I have to do this now.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm not letting go of it because I've already invested time or money or whatever.
Yeah, Poundcake was saying he's that, too.
You're the sunk cost fallacy?
He's on the phone right now. But
Okay.
yeah, I could see that being him.
The availability heuristic.
I'll share these on Twitter if people want to go through them.
Your judgments are influenced by what springs most easily to mind. How recent your memories are make them seem more relevant. The curse of knowledge is another one. Once you understand something, you presume it to be obvious to everyone.
I sent this one to Mary today.
Yeah.
You think that's what she is?
I had
Sometimes.
So I can be that way.
Really?
Well, with a very specific situation today that I don't need to talk about, but that was what would happen. Well, when it's like, oh, it seems so obvious to you because you know about it, or you have intricate knowledge of a certain subject, or you're like, how does everybody not know this?
Huh.
I could see that being something that you, as this is not a teaching hospital, would fall into that category.
No, that doesn't mean that I assume that people know. It just means it's not my job to teach you. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be here, keep up.
Yeah, but I'm
never-
not applying this one to you, but I think
Yeah.
the curse of knowledge one is like a lot of people have experience in a certain field that gives them this experience where they go, okay, I know all this, and then they assume that other people would know that, but they don't.
There are so many obvious things
Yeah.
that are not obvious to me that I would never apply that to someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
The next one is confirmation bias.
Everybody knows what that
this.
is.
Everybody does this too.
Yeah.
You favor things that conform to your existing beliefs.
Especially nowadays with the internet.
The Dunning-Kruger effect, that's a fun one, too. The more you know, the less confident you're likely to be.
Well,
It goes the other way, where really stupid people are convinced that they're geniuses.
Yeah.
The current commander-in-chief is Project X right now for the Dunning-Kruger effect.
When I read this one, I felt like I have it both ways because, like, something that I'm very confident or something that I know a lot about, like comedy, I don't feel super confident in it, or I'm always like analyzing my set, or I'm coming off like, oh, I could have done this, this, and this better. But on the opposite effect, anything that is remotely athletic, I assume I'm going to be good at.
Oh, really?
Dead serious.
Oh, that's funny.
If people
Yeah.
are like, hey, we're going to try, like,
And then we played Papa Shot, and you were wrong.
Well, but no, I know I'm terrible at basketball. But like things like when I went axe throwing for the first time, I was like, I'll probably be good at this. Or like we were talking about Topgolf. I've never played golf a day in my life. I don't know about form or anything like that, but I'm like, yeah, I probably
See,
will
I'm
be
the
all
opposite
right.
when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
If I'm accidentally good, it's gravy, but I'm terrified usually in any situation like that.
The one after that is belief bias.
If a conclusion supports your existing beliefs, you'll rationalize anything that supports it. Okay, so it's kind of adjacent to confirmation
I was gonna
bias.
say- It's
Which,
kinda
and
the
also
same
self-serving bias, kind of the same one.
Self-serving bias, you believe your failures are due to external factors, but you're responsible for your successes.
I know a lot of people
like that.
This was one of the only ones that I was like, I know that's not me 100%.
Yeah,
because
absolutely. Well,
I
so which
blame
one am
myself
I?
for everything.
It's coming.
The last one? The backfire effect? When
no.
some aspect of your core beliefs is challenged, it can cause you to believe even more strongly?
No. There's more than that. They keep going.
Oh,
There's 19
more images. Jesus.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
a lot.
those were all.
I only read the first
Well, which
ones.
one am I? I'm not going to go through all these.
Let's see. Groupthink, not you.
No.
Negativity bias.
Negativity
That's
bias.
the one that I read that I thought was you.
You allow negative things to disproportionately influence your thinking?
You're basically.
That's not me.
No, you think that things are going to be more negative than
See?
they are.
Negative right there. See?
No, I don't think things are going to be more negative than they are. I usually just use past patterns, past performance could sometimes be indicative of future success. Declinism, you remember the past is better than it was and expect the future to be worse than it will likely be.
I know a lot of people like that too.
Okay? I mean, I'm sure we probably all know people along
Right.
you. The framing effect, you allow yourself to be unduly influenced by context and delivery.
This is just stand-up comedy.
Right.
That is
Seriously.
exactly what you're doing. You're just framing everything to get that result that you want.
The fundamental attribution error. You judge others on their character, but yourself on the situation.
Oh my
That's an
God.
interesting one.
That
Yeah.
is a very interesting one. If you
I
haven't,
think everybody does that.
if you haven't had a good night's sleep, you know why you're being a bit slow. But if you observe someone else being slow, you don't have such knowledge, and so you just might presume them to be a slow person.
I have done that.
I think we
Oh
all.
my God.
I think everybody
do
does
that.
that.
I found mine. I know which one
So
I
it's
am now.
Poundcake. This whole time it's been Poundcake's pillow.
Oh, that's
Might have been.
No, I was saying I'm the next one.
The halo effect?
The halo
Oh,
effect.
yeah, you're definitely the halo effect.
I was like, oh my God, I feel attacked. I had to clutch my pearls.
The halo effect, how much you like someone or how attractive they are influences your other judgments of them.
This is so true for everybody, though.
I think
Yeah.
it is.
If you don't like somebody, I mean, you've seen the memes where like, why does this bitch got a cough like that? Like, you know what I mean? Where every little thing already annoys you.
That's why this, I mean, boy, I feel like they could have pared these down.
They could
You know?
have,
Yeah.
but-
See, the optimism bias, I think, is me too.
You overestimate the likelihood of positive outcomes.
Where I'm like, things aren't going to be that bad. Or,
gotta
you know,
tell
I'm
you,
not
though,
a doomsday person.
I've
Everything's-
tried, I wouldn't necessarily call myself glass half full, but I try to be more that way. But because I don't know that there's a downside to optimism, really.
There isn't.
You're going to be disappointed a lot. It doesn't mean that you're naive, but there's really no downside to hoping things work out well. You
Maybe
know?
you're the bystander effect. You presume someone else was going to do something in case of an emergency.
But I know
Oh,
people,
I didn't make it all the way this far.
the sunk cost of fallacy. I know so many people that get married just because they want someone. They're like, it doesn't matter if they're happy. It doesn't matter if they're financially set. They just don't want to be alone. They think they can't do any better. They invested time and energy into something, and then they're like, well, it's too late to pull the trigger now. Like, we got time invested. They don't know
Yeah.
cutting your
Settling
losses.
down, yeah.
They don't know cutting your losses and moving on. They're like, well, I put my time in.
You're also the spotlight effect.
Yeah.
Me?
Yes, you overestimate how much people notice how you look and act.
I think this is all of us to a degree.
No,
You don't
I
think
think-
that?
not compared to Poundcake.
Not compared to pound cake, but you
I
can't
don't think
compare
any-
it to pound cake. You have to see how it influences you.
I don't know if this one's that much. I mean, I
don't think anybody's ever looking at me.
cognizant of what I put out there, but if I'm out in public, I don't think people are looking at me. If I'm just at the grocery store.
But it doesn't just count public. It means like on social media and all these
Yeah,
different
you guys
things.
don't understand because you guys don't have paparazzi following you constantly.
That's true.
I think,
Sick of it.
Good point.
Alan,
We're
I
not
think
living reactance.
Yes,
Seems, yeah.
that's what I was just about to say. That's you.
You'd rather do the opposite of what someone is trying to make you do.
I read that
Yep.
one last night. My girlfriend read it and she goes, "This one's you." And I was like, "No, it's not."
Blind conformity is far from an ideal way to approach things, but neither is being a knee-jerk contrarian. I've eased up on that. I've eased up on that pedal though a little
Yeah.
bit though.
Knee-jerk contrarian really got her giggling. That's a really funny phrase.
Knee-jerk contrarian. Yeah. So there's a lot to go with. you
Yeah,
know.
I tweeted these out at Bill Squire if you want to look through them all. And
Cognitive biases.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're very
Which
interesting.
one are you? And you'll probably we're all a couple of them.
And then in group bias, I think this is another one that we all do.
This is America.
Yeah,
All of
where
America.
Well,
if
this is
you-
clicks.
Yeah,
This is what clicks are fundamentally.
But I
I
was
mean,
considered-
everybody's like that.
I was considered a floater. I never belonged to like one group.
Yeah, but at the same time, if there's someone who is outside of your group now,
Well,
you're
they were
gonna look at them
ugly,
like,
so
"Ugh."
that went into another.
Back to the
They're just
halo effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't count.
Let me ask you this, though. Was there a group that you would have liked to have been more in? I mean, a lot of people are floaters because they don't have any choice. Retrospectively, they'll call themselves floaters, but it's basically because no group wanted to claim them.
No, I mean that I'm sure.
Was
that's,
there one that you would have liked to have been a part of?
No, because
Okay.
all of them seemed really lame to me, and it was more. I was more self-righteous. I was like, I don't.
Wait,
belong
so
to any
you
of
were
these people.
you were a part of a bunch of lame groups?
No, I
He
I
was
looked
never a
at-
part of any of them.
I looked at all of them as equally lame.
I
so
see.
I didn't want to go because the jocks were obviously the group that everyone wants to be a part of because they're like the cool kids or whatever. But I didn't want to sit there and have them talk about sports constantly. I just wanted to sit with hot guys. So I
You really had to make a sacrifice.
yeah, I
is
had no
what you're
interest. So
saying.
I would sit there for a little bit, and once they start cracking jokes about getting pee and doing all that stuff, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go see what the band geeks are doing, and then I would get over there, and they're talking about like their tuba, and I'm like, all right, I'm
Which-
gonna move.
I just put my phone back on the charger. Which one is it where it's like if something proves what you already believe, you believe it even more?
Confirmation bias?
No. It was another
belief
one.
bias.
Maybe it was one of those that I was reading that reminded me of mine and your argument the other day about religion. That's why I was like, oh, this is Alan. Like when one little thing, if you're arguing something, if one little thing proves it, then you're like, you just proved my point. Like you like dig into it harder.
Self-serving bias or belief bias?
Maybe.
If a conclusion supports your existing beliefs, you'll rationalize anything that supports
That
it.
one.
Yeah, that's
Really?
belief
That
bias.
was the one.
I'm not going to rationalize anything.
I think that you do though.
No, not anything.
No, but no. Okay,
That's what that says.
Yeah,
You'll
not
rationalize anything.
But like
You'll
the
pi-
little things you'll pick. Get more nitpicky on it.
Well, those are called details.
Yeah.
And you need those to buttress any argument, and you just had fewer of them than I did.
My
So-
point
That's the
is,
Barnum
you're,
effect,
you're
Alan.
Exactly proving it.
That's the square peg in a round hole type situation.
Now, what I want to use these for is I'm just going to have them all saved on my phone, and anytime I'm in an argument with someone, I'll just send them whatever bias they're using.
You'll be like, Barnum effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Barnum effect, you see personal specifics in vague statements. Wait.
That's me. This
You
one
see-
is me big time.
You see personal specifics in vague statements by filling in the gaps.
Astrology.
Like reading, I was reading your horoscope. I was
yes.
just gonna say that.
That's me. So it's like when you get a fortune cookie and it's like, writing is the gateway to the soul. It's like, I was meant to be a comedian. See? The fortune cookie said it. You know?
Filling in the gaps.
Yeah, that's 100%. I do that really, really
People were
bad.
howling at me when I posted on
That
Instagram.
Chinese restaurant really knew me.
They get it.
Yeah.
People were howling at me when I posted on Instagram. I was like, if you're an Aries, you'll be staying at home. If you're
Right.
a Taurus, you'll be staying your ass
Right.
at home. They're like, oh my gosh, that's so true.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, Mike?
How you doing?
Good.
I talked to you Friday about the people tipping at the restaurants.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd tell you a story about yesterday. The first two customers of the day, they come in. They are completely hammered. 7 o'clock in the morning. This guy, he's saying they're brothers, and he's saying, you know, he's a deacon, and he's saying all these prayers for us, and Lord help you guys, and God has you. Thank you for working here. And they leave us a $24 tip in the jar.
Was that good?
So that's very good.
yeah, yeah.
takeout,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We split tips, and at that time there was only 2 employees.
Yeah.
So after that, every time there's a shift change, we, you know, split up the jar. So the whole rest of the day, remember that was $12 a piece we got. I walked out of there with $13.
Oh, no.
That hurts.
That's no good. No
Can't
bueno.
do that. You can't
No.
do
Now,
that.
did you
No.
guys have business? Like, were you guys booming, or was it just it was a slow day and you guys didn't get tips because no one was coming in or ordering?
It's been fairly steady throughout the day, but every day has been a lot slower than usual just because of only carry-out.
Yeah.
Well, God
Man.
bless you for working there.
Thank you. Thank you
Wow,
guys for
he's got the
thank you guys
imprimatur
for
from Poundcake.
still being here because it gets me through the rest of my day.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, Mike.
Thank you guys.
All right, there you go. There
And
is
just cook the
Mike.
food better, and then you'll get better tips.
Cook the food better.
They're not even eating it, though. They're only picking it up. They haven't even gotten into the food yet.
Yeah. And bring your own pen, by the way. When they give you the slip, right? You put in your card
I
in the
didn't think
thing.
about that.
And usually the person working there is wearing gloves. But I always bring my own pen. Because I don't use the pen that they've been using or whatever, you know.
I just write
At-
with blood,
Oh, there you go.
like Sideshow Bob.
What could go wrong with that?
At Giant Eagle, they put
Sideshow Bob.
a ban back on you can't bring your own bags in anymore.
That's right.
They brought back plastic bags, which they're like, well, I guess this is better than
Screw the
people
environment.
bringing. Well, better
And
than
they-
people
and they-
bringing coronavirus into the store
So it's
from
Giant
their
Eagle's fault.
homes.
And they started putting up like pawn shop bulletproof plastic too in between the person and you.
Yeah, at Target, I went there and they were like, okay, put your stuff on the belt and then you stand behind the belt while the person rings it out, and then they step away when you go to put your card in. So
Yeah.
they're like taking it really seriously.
Well, you
there.
might as
And
well.
they should.
These are
No, I
people.
know, I'm just saying.
Yeah, these are people who are
employees.
like still working. And,
I hadn't
yeah.
I hadn't like bought anything. I mean, the grocery store, but I didn't have that distancing like Target did. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
precautions, man.
Sure.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
It just shocked
It's
me a
just
little bit.
interesting to see.
It's
like when you see it
very
implemented,
strange.
you're like, this is different, and this is, but like you appreciate it too.
It honestly felt like a lot. Like my initial reaction was like, come on. You know what I mean? Like I was a little annoyed
What
by
bias
it.
is that?
What bias is that? The inconvenience bias? Which one's that? I was a little, but then
They're like
once
everyone's a problem but me bias.
but then once you actually think about it, I'm like, oh no, this is the smartest way to do this. It's just like
That's
Yeah.
reactance bias.
reactance bias.
Because you'd rather do the opposite of what they're trying to make you do.
No, I
all
would
the-
rather do the opposite. I'm just like,
Well,
this seems excessive.
shocking.
It seemed excessive, is what it felt like.
All,
But
all the
again,
texters are laughing at me because I said everyone knows what confirmation bias is. But I feel like over the past 3 years, that has, with the division politically, confirmation bias feels like the phrase you've seen a lot of.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that. But you're right, it's funny.
Did we go over what that was, or did we skip right past it?
No, confirmation bias is you'll take what you already believe to fit into whatever you. What is it, Bill? I mean, I'm killing it.
It's like
here,
the third one.
Yeah. Because they're alphabetical here, right? Or no?
No, I think it's just probably most popular.
Everybody knows what it is, Mary.
Confirmation bias is you favor things that confirm your existing beliefs.
So what you already believe,
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Instead of listening
You
to
kind
the
of
other
cherry
side.
pick. Well, but
Yeah.
again, even if you listen to the other side, there are like fundamental things that you just don't believe, even though, well, I'm not even going to go down
It
that
says,
road.
think
but,
of your ideas and beliefs as software you're actively trying to find problems with rather than things to be defended. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool.
I liked that a lot. When
Yeah.
it said, think of it as things you're trying to improve rather than defend. I'm like, oh man, if everybody did that.
Yeah, these are really interesting, and it gives you a good look at how you, like, why you get defensive about some things and why you believe things a certain way, and it's really interesting. I really enjoyed these.
Yeah.
I got some other ones, too, for another day.
Okay.
The fallacies, logical fallacies.
Fallacy. Like
Like
straw
a
man.
phallus.
No.
I was like phallic? Like, are we,
Yeah, a phallus, like a fallacy.
is fallacy the plural of phallic?
That's phallici.
sorry.
Look at all these phallici in here. Poundcake's going to be so pleased. All right, I've got a break. I'll have a copy of MLB The Show for you on PS4 if you want to grab that from me after the break. And then another shot for you to win $1,000 at 4:30. Almost every hour during the day, about 12 times a day, you can win $1,000 to help with whatever you need that money for. So 4:30 would be another chance for you to text and win. 35192, you want to text me or get to us at alancoxshow.com.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS and everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app.
People everywhere are doing their part during this